It was a cold, wet morning on January the 7th, 1988. Macamor Airlines, which was based at the Brickton Airfield, was only in its second year of operation. That morning on January the 7th, the ice storm of 98 was still in full swing. Forecasts out of the Brickton Airfield that day showed that the Portland International Jetport was in the clear, which was false. Portland Jetport was getting pounded by the ice storm of 98 and was unsuitable for any aircraft to be flying in or out of the jetport. But the controllers at the Brickton Airfield received false weather information, and they passed it along to Macamor Flight 18. Flight 18 was one of 14 Boeing 737-300s in Macamor Airlines. The airline had a very simple, very, very simple paint job, very white fuselage with a red stripe up the tail, which made it hard to spot in many conditions. Flight 18 was delayed an hour due to icing fog from the Brickton Airfield. After being de-iced twice and reassuring all 52 passengers on board they'd make it into Portland, Flight 18 departed. Macamor Airlines was the only airline operating any of its aircraft that day from the Brickton Airfield, more or less any airport on Lego Island. Airlines such as Lego Airlines, Northeast Airlines, Delta, United, and many other airlines based on Lego Island, including all cargo operators, ceased operations that day. There was no written bulletin from the Lego Island Air Authority or the FAA saying that no aircraft could fly. This was all set up to the operators. But Macamor that day decided they would chance it and go off of what the weather information were saying and fly to Portland. The 52 passengers that were aboard Flight 18 had come from all around the island to get aboard the aircraft to Portland. At the time, there was no tunnel and ferry system to Portland. There was only airlines operated from the Portland International Jetport and other airports on the mainland United States that operated into Lego Island. Flight 18 was only about a year, crashed about 4 months prior to the construction of the first tunnel from mainland United States over all the way to Lego Island. Macamor Flight 18 crashed about a month before any ferry boat service began from Portland to the island. Flight 18 was supposed to climb to flight level 250, but this was impossible due to massive cells over Lego Island that were dumping tons of freezing rain and gusting winds in excess of 80 miles an hour, and in some cases 100 miles an hour. So, Flight 18 climbed to flight level 310, which was a high altitude for the route, but the flight had to get above the storm system. The flight was smooth, and everyone on board was laughing and having a great time, and just being thankful they got aboard a flight back home from winter vacation after being stuck on Lego Island for quite some time. But all that would change soon. About 15 minutes till arrival, Flight 18 ran into a massive cell. This shocked the pilots. The pilots were expecting clear, calm conditions in Portland and were very surprised to find that it was the same conditions they saw over Lego Island. The plane began to descend into freezing rain and gusting winds in excess of 80 miles an hour, and again, in some cases, 100 miles an hour. The plane took on too much ice all at once, and the de-icing systems failed to keep up and eventually failed altogether. With no de-icing systems, the wings began to freeze up and the pitot tubes froze over. The pilot struggled to keep the plane straight and level and also struggled to maintain safe airspeed. Then about 5 miles off the coast of Portland, approximately off the coast of Cape Elizabeth, Flight 18 rolled over and plummeted into the icy waters of Gulf of Maine, splitting up before it hit the water. She took all 57 down to the bottom of the Gulf, 52 passengers and 5 crew members. Now the only problem with Flight 18 is no one has ever recovered the fuselage. No bodies were recovered, no pieces of the aircraft were recovered. But many rumors do speculate around southern Maine about Flight 18. Many people up and down the immediate coast, Cape Elizabeth, Scarborough, Pine Point, Old Orchard, and Camp Ellis, speculate that they've found pieces of the aircraft floating ashore and have brought them into their homes as a keepsake. But no physical evidence of fuselage or any part of the aircraft have been given to the FAA and Lego Island Air Authority. One fisherman who was on a lobstering boat, claims that he ferried 32 passengers into Pine Point after coming home from a long, long fishing trip. But no documents showing 32 passengers have been provided. These are only rumors. Flight 18 has baffled many searchers for years and will for years to come, considering the fuselage has never been found. And with this, the legend lives on of Flight 18. Some say Flight 18 never left Brickton, or never even got out over the coast of Maine. Some say that Flight 18 landed at the Rock Bay Skyport, or diverted up to Lego City, and was never documented. Others say the plane made it into Portland and was just never documented. This is quite hard to believe by many, considering that if all 52 passengers and 5 crew members made it into Portland, then we wouldn't be here today making this video about Flight 18, now would we? Many say that when the plane hit the water, some of the passengers who survived clung onto an iceberg and eventually froze and drowned. Others say when the plane hit the water, it hit a large ice sheet and eventually floated down south and eventually sunk down there. Others say, and many other people say, that the plane just continued to fly and fly and fly and eventually ended up in Canada. All rumors are valid. Not really. But many people continue to believe that these rumors, and the legend of Flight 18 will live on forever. The search continues by Macamor Airlines, which almost went out of business shortly after the crash if it wasn't for Lego Airlines coming along and funding the airline as a regional operator. Macamor Airlines has come back from the crash, not really rebranding the airline, but repainting all their aircraft into a more vibrant livery instead of this plain white one with a red stripe up the tail, looking more or less somewhat like a Janet jet. But no matter how Flight 18 went down and whatever happened to the 52 souls aboard the aircraft, I hope that the people, from behalf of the people at Macamor Airlines, we wish you all a very safe and happy travel, and may the 52 passengers on board and 5 crew members rest in peace. Thanks for watching, guys. It's just my little fake airline on Google Sketchup, and I'm surprised my hiccups lasted this long. Yeah, stuff like that. I was hoping they would hold up until I got towards the end of the video. This is about my fake airline on Google Sketchup, Macamor Airlines. Macamor Airlines started in 1995, and 3 years later, look at that great map I'm doing right there, suffered from a great crash just 5 miles off the coast of Portland. So this right here, Flight 18, is just an is just a model depicting of what Flight 18 looked like when it went down into the icy waters of Gulf of Maine. As you see there, the left wing split off the aircraft due to the high G load, and the engine popped off, and the aircraft ultimately landed in the Gulf, killing all 52 passengers, 5 crew member. So I just created this just as a little something for the Macamor Airlines. This is Macamor today. Like I said, this is just their airline now. I painted that myself. They operate 737-300s and 737-600s now. Like I said, the livery is a bit better than it was on the jet over here, because like I said, it's just a white fuselage with a red stripe. Yep, hiccups. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and catch you guys later. See ya.